Hello, I'm Gay Lisby.
And I'm Gary Ray. Welcome to Tribe Talks.
Tribe Talks is a series of heartfelt moments with members of Amazon Seller Tribe where we're pretty transparent, aren't we, Gary?
Yeah, we are, Gay, because really 50% of life is if. If you actually spell out the word, half of it is just a chance. And then after that, it's how we respond to it.
That's right, Gary. And here at Tribe Talks, we want listeners to be inspired by other Amazon sellers to overcome their own self-imposed limitations. And that's why we're doing Tribe Talks. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first edition of Tribe Talks. We have with us today Clay Sewald. He is an Amazon seller in Amazon Seller Tribe, which I co-lead with Gary Ray. And I'm Gay Lisby, your host today. So Clay is an awesome young man who sells on Amazon, currently lives in Arvada, Colorado. It's probably snowing out there, Clay. Is it snowing?
It's real nice today.
Real nice today. We're going to be snowing pretty soon, probably.
Yeah, it's in the forecast.
Right. So Clay started selling on Amazon in August of 2018. He said he opened his account a little bit earlier than that, but he actually didn't get serious about selling until 2018 because unfortunately Clay had to go in the valley before he could come up the mountain to victory. And so Clay, pull that little gal up there on your lap. Who's that little missy we're with today?
This is Kaylee. She is 6 years old, and her twin is over here, but he's over at his grandma and grandpa's house.
He's with Grandma today. So Kaylee and Carson, these are the double blessings in Clay's life, and they feature prominently in what Clay's about to share. So listen to Clay for just a few minutes because we're going to be talking today about escaping the identity you didn't even look for, you didn't want, escaping an identity you never thought would be thrust upon you. And Clay has done that. We're going to hear that today. But Clay, tell us about the day that you knew you were heading into a valley.
Well, let me start by telling you, in 2017, things were good. They're good now, but things were good then, and I was a husband. I had a good marriage. I had a great career. I had my beautiful two children. In 2017, they were 3 years old.
So that's a picture of them right there.
That's a picture of them when they were 3 years old. So that's
right.
About what they looked like when I started this Amazon journey. And I remember there were some times I would sit there and you'd hear about things happening to people around you. Their mother passed away, or their sister is sick, or their kids are having problems in school. And I thought to myself, I've got it pretty good. Like, just knock on wood. Everybody's good, everybody's doing well, and life was going on. Things were good. Well, now let me back up and tell you, in 2015, my wife had battled breast cancer. After 1 year of treatment in 2015, from 2015 to 2016, she went through chemotherapy, lost her hair, all that, radiation. And I remember New Year's Eve 2015, we were out celebrating because that day she was told, you're clear, all is well, you're healthy. Her hair was back, and it was a great time. Like, we had a great time, and we thought we were out of the woods. But we lived 2016, we were both busy, full-time, parenting, full-time jobs, lots of hours. And, early in 2017, she started complaining. She said, it kind of hurts when I breathe. And of course, in the back of our minds, we're thinking, well, I'm not sure. She was kind of scared to go to the doctor, even though, she'd been checked and all this stuff for, I think it was every 3 months she was getting scanned or whatever to make sure that there was no comeback of the cancer or anything like that. But finally, my mom took Carla to the doctor because she just said, look, we got to go get you checked out, And so she didn't want to go, but she did. And I remember that day I remember that day well. It was March 1st, 2017. And my mom called me and said, I'm taking Carla to the doctor. We're just going to let you know that we're going to run up there real quick. Call you as soon as we're done. I said, good, I'm glad. So we go, what was it, a couple hours later, I got a call.
So now where were you at this time? Were you at work, or were you in your office, or?
Yes, I was at work. I was at work. I was a service manager for an automotive repair facility, and I was at work. So she called. About every couple hours, I would get a phone call from her because they would send her someplace else. To the point, at the end of the day, for me, she was at Lutheran Hospital getting scanned, and what they had found was that the cancer had returned into her lung, and she had a tumor in her lung. And yeah, so what the pain was is she had a hard time breathing. They had to drain her lung, but come to find out in the next couple days was that stage 4 breast cancer. It's breast cancer. It just moved to the lung, and at that point, we didn't know what we were going to do. If there was any way out of this. But we kept on believing that there was. Well, there wasn't. September 28th, 2017, we lost Carla. And so I was left with, well, let me tell you first, Carla asked me in July of 2017, she says, I don't know what's going to happen. Can you quit your job and be with me every day? I said, yes, absolutely. I can do that. And I did. I did it the right way. I gave my 2 weeks notice, and, and my employers wished me well, and they were on my side. And I did. I quit. And so I got to be with Carla every day because my parents and my family helped with the kids. I stayed with Carla every night because she was in the hospital for weeks at a time. So, I got to spend every waking moment with her. I got to be there for every doctor's appointment. And it definitely plays a part into how I'm doing today, because I'm doing pretty good today because I don't have any regrets. Right. If I would have not done that, yeah, I definitely would have regretted it. But her and I had worked ourselves in a position where fortunately we could be in a position where we could actually we were both unemployed. We didn't know for how long, but, it was kind of scary, 2 young children, a sick wife. And we lost her on September 28th, 2017. And to tell you the truth, I was in complete shock. I mean, looking back now, we knew it was coming. I look back now, I'm like, how could we be so foolish to think that there was any way out of this? But we both approached it that way. Right. That we're going to get out of this. And it probably bought her 2 or 3 months.
Sure. Yeah, that hope. But now all of a sudden, September 28, 2017, you have an identity thrust on you because death brings that identity. You've got twin babies, 3-year-olds to raise without their mother. Your mom, dad, and everything. And you're a young man burying your wife. And this identity is thrust on you. You didn't ask for this.
I didn't ask for it. I was a widow. I mean, I went from being a husband, being a service manager, to, the only thing that was the same for me was I was a father of Carson and Kaylee. Everything had changed. Now I'm a widow, and, and like, I didn't ask for this. I didn't want this. And sometimes people get identities they don't want. Sometimes they're divorced. Right. Sometimes they lost a business and maybe they're bankrupt. Sure. These are identities people don't ask for. Right. And I had seen, I sought help, some grief counseling that was very, very, very helpful as I went along in this journey. But through this, I met a lot of widows, and a lot of them were widowed 5, 6, 7 years ago. But you know what? They were still a widow, and I thought to myself, I've got 4 eyes watching me here. I gotta show them how to navigate you know, I got to show them how to win. You know, I got to show them how to win, and I got to show them how to deal with adversity. And
Come
at
on.
that point,
Wow. So your identity, you know, is sorrow and grief and the change of your status. You're not any longer on Facebook married, you know, status. Your status is widow. But you realized that there was something bigger than you, that you had to move into something else because there was a bigger why than Clay Sewald.
that's right.
In
It
fact,
was,
two bigger whys.
yeah, two bigger whys that were, you know, clearly obvious that, you know, as my wife lay, you know, dying, I told her, I gave her permission, and I said, the only way she could have gone peacefully is, and I know this about her, is if I would have told her that
Right,
I'm going to be okay and your kids are going to be okay. I
right,
promise you,
right,
I will take care of them, and they will have the best of everything, the best of me, the
right.
best life that we can have.
Come on.
And yep, that's right. And it allowed her, and she went, and it was the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life, ever. But so the reason I tell you that is because I can gauge where I'm at now by asking myself a question, and that is, you know, would she be happy, you know, with your life and the kids? And there's been times since she's passed away, I could say no, you know, and I've had to make massive changes, and some of that has been my identity. I've had to change my
Right,
identity.
right. So you had to have some sort of a pivot point, really, because and maybe you only see it retrospectively, because during the time you are pivoting, you may still have felt very much in a fog or cloud of grief or that sort of thing. But take me to that time or that season or that moment where you're like, I can't be like this. I've got to do something different. I've got to be something different.
That would have been probably, you know, after, you know, I became a widow, I didn't know what I was going to do. I could have gone back to my old job, but you know what? I wanted to change careers anyway.
Right.
So, I started to check out this Amazon thing, you know, I started to check out this Amazon thing, and it looked pretty good. I mean, it actually looked pretty good, but the bigger thing was, is I had to pull myself up out of this. And so
Right.
what I did was
Right.
I exercised every day, and I went in the opposite direction of what people would expect someone in my shoes to do. I exercised every day. I started a business, and I just threw myself at the business.
So now most people just let that crush them, and they go through a very lengthy season of depression or despondency. So did you feel yourself, you know, forcing yourself? You know, how do you get yourself out of bed and go to the gym when you don't want to? How do you force yourself into entrepreneurship and all of the duties that come with that, and the weight and the experience and the uh, promises you have to make to yourself and others to be an entrepreneur? How do you come to that place where you're like, I'm not letting despondency or despair take me?
Yeah. Well, first, let me tell you that it would have been a lot easier to just do what everybody expected, and that's just let life crush me. It would have been easier on everybody, including people that supported me. It's a weird thing, but I tell you, exercise changes lives too. I'm just going to tell you that right now, because I exercise, it just changed the way I felt every day when I went to exercise. My mind, I felt better, you know, it was clearer. I could make better decisions. I was stronger mentally. And so that allowed me to I just worked out, and then I opened my business, and I just started to kind of dabble in it and go more and more and learn more, and spent most of this time.
Right. So now you're referring to your Amazon account, and you're learning on your own, training yourself in Amazon at this point.
Yes. Yeah. And I was involved in many different, you know, groups and trainings, and I went to different conferences, some really very good conferences along the way. And but also, you know, you might be wondering, what about the kids? You know, well, I had a lot of support. I have my family here. I met another woman who is amazing with the kids. I had a lot of very, very good support with them. My kids they're thriving. They're doing so well. I know I've made the right choices all along. And I know that my wife, Carla, would be proud of all those decisions.
Nice.
You know, so you know, I just want to make sure that I put that out there because the kids are doing very, very good. They're just thriving in school.
Yeah.
And
Happy and well adjusted
yeah,
and beautiful. And beautiful.
they are. It's a lot of work, but man, that's why I did this though. That's exactly why I did this. I had to be initially very early on. I was mom and dad. I wanted to be there for everything.
Right.
Everything for school, you know, and I'm at their school all the time. Like because I can. You know why? Because I can.
Right.
Because I do this business and I'm happy about it.
Right.
You know?
So you entered into more freedom even with entrepreneurship because you had the freedom to escape the despair, escape the despondency, and then you had the freedom to be with those children, which I would imagine was really good medicine.
It was. Yeah, we have this bond that you know, it's really strong because of what we all went through, and we don't brush any of this under the rug or anything like that. It's very, very open around here about their mother and who's in their life now. You know, we don't hide any of this stuff. Like my daughter sitting over here, she's not like, well, what are you talking about? I mean, she's just normal talk for us around here.
She's heard this before.
Yeah, she's heard it before. And I think it's great. I think it's great that anybody can talk about their mom and they're happy. You know, they talk about her too. So, so I feel like I've done this the right way. It was all obviously very challenging, you know, all very, very challenging, but I'm in a good place now. My business is doing good. And you know, you're coaching Gay and
so you made that pivot, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got a hold of Amazon. You're like, could be a vehicle that could keep me home with my children, you know, provide the income I need and fulfill the promises I made to my wife, as well as, you know, create a healthy future for generations if you do it right, correct?
Correct.
So now so you've been in this valley and you've walked through that, and then you made that pivot. You know, you said, I'm not gonna live in this identity that was thrust upon me. I can still be Clay Sewald that I was meant to be, right?
Right. Yeah.
And he started climbing, you know, the mountain, you know, ascending the mountain of victory, so to speak, right? And were there ways and methods and that people came into your life and kind of spoke into that Clay Sewald that you were meant to be?
Yeah, there was, because you know, I didn't want to be a widow. I mean, I could tell people I'm a widow and just stop there, you know, but I didn't want that. I'm a musician, I'm a father, I'm a business owner. Widowhood is part of my journey. That's not my identity. That's not who I am. And I don't, you know, I'm not asking for anything. I'm just wanting to have allies to help me in life move. And I found those. Like, I think my attitude about this has allowed me to keep moving forward and you know, in my personal life. Right. I have a great situation here now. And in my business life too. Yeah. It's just attracted the right people to me. It's attracted this group. It's been quite a journey for me.
So tell us about how Tribe, Amazon Seller Tribe, that we work together in, and we love and respect you, the journey that you've been through, but also the creativity that you've been employing in your business as you're growing your Amazon business. But tell us about how Tribe has made an impact on you.
Well, Tribe has really changed my business and my life. And you know, I remember sitting around, one of my gauges for how I'm doing, as I mentioned before, was, you know, would Carla be happy with me? You know, would she approve? And there's times, one of the times that I said no was before your coaching, because I couldn't say that I was doing the best I could. I was making things work. I couldn't say that. And I was ready to move on to something else and go back to my job or whatever, and just figure out a way to make that work. I really wasn't. And I thought to myself, you know, I saw the Tribe 2 coaching that you have, because I was in the group. The group was fantastic. Right. And I considered Tribe 1, but I'm like, nah, I don't need it. You know, I've learned a lot. I can do without it or whatever.
Been through some training programs, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And they were good. I had been through some good ones too. I mean, but the people that came from Tribe 1, you get to seeing these messages in the group about how good it was and stuff. And really, I thought to myself, I've come this far. Like I've come this far. What's another investment in another, coaching program or whatever? I mean, I was like, Gay's really likable and Gary seems pretty cool. And like, y'all know a lot. So what the heck, why not? I really love this stuff anyway. I'll just do this and then I'll move on with my life. Right. I'll get up, I'll go get a job. Well, it changed everything. I'm doing good. That coaching, it covers stuff that's just not covered elsewhere.
Right.
And, I mean, at least in my experience,
Right.
there's a lot of, business points that are in there that are just missed sometimes in other ones. And just this, and it's allowed me to become profitable people, because if you don't know how to actually dig and dig and dig and dig and dig to see if you're profitable, you don't know.
Right.
I can tell you that.
Right.
Because you think you are, but until you know how to find out, you don't know. And
right.
that alone, when I was taught how to do that, boy, man, that opened my eyes up. And I don't know how to figure. I would have never figured that out on my own, I don't think.
Right.
I'm giving up.
Well, for one thing, and some people think it's in their best interest not to ever share these kinds of tips and tricks, but we feel like that it's in our best interest to have a part in your life's journey and to see you move into those dreams, those hopes and callings, et cetera, that you have in your life. What's more, because we're like, God blessed you with double? Are you kidding me? God was like, who should I give double to? I'll give it to Clay. I'm like, I'm a smart person. I'm like, I'm going, oh, God invested double in Clay. I'm going to invest double in Clay too. I'm no rocket scientist, but I know that much. And so you have really taken a hold of the training. You've taken a hold of the techniques. You really have gotten down to the foundational basis of your business. And now you have seen exponential growth. Isn't that true?
I've seen triple growth from when I started.
Triple.
It's actually more than triple, but triple's good enough, right? People understand.
I'll take triple, unless it's triplets, which
yeah.
I know I would take them too. Like, yeah. So triple.
That was within, I mean, in all fairness, I mean, that's within 3 or 4 months, and that's with Q4 and all that. But I mean, hey, it happened, it happened. And
wow. Do you see yourself different now? Do you say, you carried the title of widow, you carried the title of, sorrowful and depressed and despondent, et cetera. And very quickly you said, wait, that's turning me into somebody I wasn't created to be. Who are you now? What do you feel like you've come into that or are coming into that?
I feel like a warrior. I feel like a warrior. I feel like, it would have been easier to just stay down, but that's just not who I am. I mean, in a lot of ways, I feel like the worst thing that could have happened to me happened. I mean, It just changes you. It changes you and makes you appreciate people that want to help you even more, because I've run across and met several people that have just extended their hand to me and my kids and my family, and a woman who's done the same thing, that are just helping me out through this life. And so, I went through, there was depression, and I credit exercise for getting me out of it. I really credit exercise for allowing me to make these smart business decisions, because, a lot of times most people tell you, take it easy. And I've always been a rebel. Okay. Ever since I was little, I don't do what you're supposed to do. I do what I want to do. And I think that now it makes sense. Like, it's because this day was coming in my life.
Right. And, exactly. You used an interesting phrase for yourself, or an interesting word for yourself. You said, I'm a warrior. You were a widow, but Clay Sewald really is a warrior. You're meant to be a warrior. And I really honestly believe by telling your story today, you're going to bring that war and warring spirit into somebody else's life who needs to hear this. And they're going to go, wait a minute, I'm a warrior too.
Yes.
I can do it. I can do it.
That's what I want for people. I want them to know that if they're facing a tragedy, anything that's hard in their life, you don't have to stay there. There is a way out. I want to feel like I've left a little bit of a roadmap. I mean, you know, it's more like a muddy trail, but there's footprints, you know? Yeah.
Come on.
And that's how I feel. And I want people to just follow that path. You don't have to do what everyone tells you to do. I mean, just do what you feel like you need to do, because you'll know when you're down there. And everybody at some point in their life has suffered tragedy. It's not just me, you know.
Right.
And people get confused and depressed, and there's substances, and you know what? Stay away from it.
Right. But just, you know, come to that place where you're like, you know, you had an interesting picture that you put down there. You said, you know, it's a muddy trail. You know, it's a muddy trail. It's not a perfect trail, but it still was a trail.
Yeah.
That got you out of where you were and brought you to where you are now. And it makes me super curious about where you'll be a year from now. And so to that end, a year from now, let's meet together and do another tribe talk, because I want to hear where you've gone to, what heights you've ascended since January 2, 2020. Well,
it's going to be big. I know it. I feel it. I'm surrounded by an amazing group. I love where this is headed now. And whereas I didn't before, I was worried, and it's going to be awesome. And I might have 50 more years of life left. I might have 50 more years of life left, but I don't know if that's enough time to do everything I want to do. I'm in let's go mode, because up to that point, I was pretty hum-ho, average, you know, just doing probably just doing what you're supposed to do, you know, raising your family. And,
right.
But man, I'm let's go.
So you got to pick up your game.
I got to pick up my game. I'm getting older.
Come on. Come on.
A little bit.
Clay, thank you for spending your time today. Is that little girl still in the room?
Oh, I can hear her playing.
Where are you? Kaylee.
Come over here and say hi real fast, Kaylee. She said, okay.
She said, okay. All right. Clay, thank you for spending time today telling us the story. Hi, Kaylee. So tell Carson when you see him that I'm sorry I couldn't see you on camera, okay?
Okay.
All right. Give your daddy a hug for me. And Clay, we appreciate seeing you here on our very first Tribe Talk today. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So that's it today, folks. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Tribe Talks. If you're interested in selling on Amazon, just jump on the link below.
And folks, if you enjoyed Tribe Talks, seriously, if it helped you maybe take one more step in life, could we get you to take one more step here and subscribe to the link below?
And see you next time on Tribe Talks.
Take care, everybody.